So, Michael, you had a very interesting weekend, or seems like you were super busy. I mean, regarding work, I'm saying.
I mean, no,
preparing.
I didn't really do that much. I had went out for dinner on Friday, had some Chinese food, and Saturday I had Korean barbecue, and Sunday I just pretty much stayed home and
Okay.
played some video games.
Any news that that caught your mind?
No, not really. I didn't really see what was going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Do you get tired of the news sometimes? Honestly,
I mean,
you do, right? Political news.
on the weekends I try not to look at the news.
You tune out.
But I still, you see it on Twitter or, Instagram, but yeah, you can't avoid it. But I think Sunday I didn't really go online.
What do you think about the Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens debacle? Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens. I've been following them more so on Candace Owens. I like Candace Owens more, I'll be honest. I like her commentary better. I think she's a better political analyst. I think she has more talent compared to Ben Shapiro, personally. Ben Shapiro, I think YouTube algorithm pushed him. I think, probably because his heritage.
What do you mean? What do you mean YouTube pushed him because of, what do you mean his heritage?
I don't know. I don't want to get too sensitive about.
No, I don't get it. What are you talking about?
No, I think he's Jewish, so I think
he's Jewish.
Yeah, he's Jewish. So
YouTube promoted him because he's Jewish.
Some people have been saying that to me. I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know. Well, I can say this: so many people have been shadow banned and striked. But somehow his channel survived all through all that. And, there has been so many conservatives who has been complaining to me as well. How could this be when their channels are being banned? And even Larry Elder, so many other figures, even Candace Owens. I think she got a strike, too, by YouTube. But how could he just navigate all this? It's like he gets some notes in advance. I just don't understand it. How could Ben Shapiro? It seems like he's almost untouchable. So there has been some accusation that probably he's Jewish. He's being protected. He's very close with Benjamin Netanyahu. He seems to be very well connected with the quote-unquote establishment. He's an anti-Trumper. He's a never-Trumper. And so it kind of goes along that line. I mean...
Okay. Is it possible that...
But I don't want to... I definitely do not want to sound anti-Semitic when I say this. I'm just laying out the facts.
Are you anti-Semitic?
No, I'm not.
And you're not? Okay. So Ben Shapiro, as I know, he's a guy who started... He's a conservative commentator. He started this media company called the Daily Wire, right?
Yes, he started. He's one of the founder with Jeremy Boring. Jeremy Boring is the CEO. Actually.
His name is Boring?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a boring dude. Actually, and Ben Shapiro was supposed to be the strategy guy. So he was supposed to play the CEO role.
Okay.
And it was Jeremy Boring who was supposed to be a political pundit. But they switched positions because Ben Shapiro went on. There was one television interview that he did. I don't know which channel it was, but he did so well that Jeremy Boring told him, "Hey, you should be the star. I should be the strategy guy." So they switched. So that's But they did found Daily Wire together. But I don't think Daily Wire is that powerful. Do you consider Daily Wire to be powerful? Do you go to their outlet?
No,
every day?
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't think I've ever been on his site.
I don't either, because I think it's paid. You have to pay it. You have to pay.
I mean,
think it's subscription.
I imagine you know better than I do, but yeah. So, okay, so Ben Shapiro has this conservative Netflix, I guess, kind of, or a paid
something like that
video site where you can hear Ben talk about politics.
Yeah,
and I guess he hired Candace Owens, who is a black conservative commentator, and yeah, they just talk about conservative things for conservative people.
Yes.
And I guess recently Candace I know she was interviewing like pro-Palestinian voices.
She did.
And I think maybe that pissed off Ben Shapiro and other pro-Israelis.
Jeremy Boring and others, yeah.
Yeah, and Ben is very... he's like a strong Jew, huh?
I think he's the most prominent voice of pro-Israel in the world. I think they say even more than Benjamin Netanyahu. Some people have been saying it. If you look at his YouTube followers, subscribers, he has close to 8 million now. They say he might be the leading voice. in the world, as being pro-Israel, because we don't know anybody else who's this
Right.
pro-Israel and to have this much influence.
I see. I mean, it's hard to believe that this guy is the leading voice, but I always found him to be kind of, what's the term, abrasive, just kind of,
Yeah, annoying.
he's kind of like Doug in, very like, just the negative energy and, Doug's gonna.
A provocateur? Are you saying a provocateur? He's a provocateur.
No, I don't know. He's just very angry and very negative, I think. And
I get the negative
And
vibe.
I'm not talking shit about Doug because I don't
Uh-huh.
want Doug to start
Yeah.
coming after me now. I'm just saying the energy is similar,
mhm.
although Doug and Ben have very different views.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, I think Ben, I read something or heard him say something once like his loyalty to America. Do you know what I'm talking about? His loyalty to America
Yeah, I know what you're talking
is based
know.
on America's loyalty to Israel. So he's an Israel first, America second kind of guy,
I
which,
think so.
it's fine if you want to support your, like, there are Korean Americans who are like, they're Korean first, American 2nd, whatever. I get it. I understand it. But I mean, at least, anyway, that's what he is. And there's war going on, and Candace, I don't know, I guess he couldn't handle the free speech because, you remember when Ben, I never even heard of him. And then on YouTube one day, I started seeing all these videos.
Me too. That's how I got to know him.
And
because it was
just-
Ben Shapiro versus college students, right?
Well, it would just say like, Ben Shapiro destroys
Yeah.
liberal, or
I got a
Ben
lot
Shapiro
of that
destroys feminist. And I never clicked on them because I'm like, who's Ben Shapiro? I don't care. And then why do I want to see him destroy whatever? But then finally, after seeing it like maybe 100 times, I said, okay, let me watch this. And okay, so
you got clickbaited in a way. Yeah.
I mean, it took a lot of attempts, but I finally watched it. I'm like, oh, this guy's annoying, because he's like, he talks very fast.
Very fast. Yeah.
His eyes are kind of like, I don't know.
Even his looks bothered you.
Yeah, and I was never really a fan of his. And
Me neither.
The thing was, he would say, "Facts don't care about your feelings."
Yes, that's the
That was the
slogan
thing.
of his
Yeah.
show. You're
Facts
right.
don't care about your feelings. So I find it kind of ironic how, Candace Owens having guests to give to give other facts that maybe Ben doesn't like. I find that kind of strange, and I do see people online saying that he's hypocritical.
I think that's exactly what people pointed out, and that's what I felt too immediately when he, out of the blue, Candace Owens, we felt this was coming, right? When she invited some pro-Palestinian pundits to her show, I think Ben Shapiro got angry towards her. Last year, I think, in a private party, he actually bashed Candace Owens, which, she was still her colleague, even though she was not his subordinate. So I think that was signaling that Candace Owens' days at the Daily Wire were numbered pretty much.
Well, he
after that
did.
incident.
Yeah, he did publicly say like, if you don't like it, you should quit.
He
was
said
like
that on his tweet.
Yeah, that was a few months ago, and then eventually she just gets fired.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Shapiro, when I look at him, I don't like his political leaning because I used to listen to him every day. I didn't want to listen to Ben Shapiro per se, but there were other, Brian Whitman, also, you know him.
I know Brian Whitman.
Yeah, 870 AM, it was Ben Shapiro, Brian Whitman, it was another girl named Elise somebody, and then there was Jennifer Horn, she joined in, so it was like a 4-member crew. It used to be 3, but now later it became 4.
You mean the 4 of them used to be on the radio together?
Yes.
Brian Whitman was on. Brian Whitman and Ben Shapiro were on a show together.
Yes, they were all on a show together.
Wow.
So this was before Ben Shapiro blew up. Okay. This was when he was working at Breitbart. I think he was the editor there, and then out of the blue, he started becoming very, anti-Trump, never Trumper when Trump became prominent during the 2016 presidential election. And what Ben Shapiro said was he was so angry towards Trump and his then campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski. Corey Lewandowski, he took care of Trump's presidential campaign during the primary. I think he had some kind of scuffle with one of the Breitbart reporters. It was a female reporter, and then Ben Shapiro somehow took issue regarding that, and Breitbart was on Trump's side over their
Right.
reporter because I saw the camera too, and Corey Lewandowski did nothing wrong. He did
Right.
nothing wrong, and Ben Shapiro said this can't be. I'm leaving, Breitbart, and which actually was a blessing in disguise because nobody knew Ben Shapiro back then. Only people who would listen in the morning shows would know. People like me, political junkies, they would know it, but people didn't know about Ben Shapiro. But then all of a sudden, he started Daily Wire with Jeremy Boring, and then YouTube. He started his Ben Shapiro YouTube show, and then that
Right.
started just. I was bombarded by his contents. I didn't like it too. I didn't like the way he talks. He talks too fast. Even his political analysis. The reason why he didn't like Trump was because he was just a buffoon. It didn't even make sense. He was a never Trumper. He never he said he never voted Trump
Yeah.
nor Hillary Clinton. So I'm like, what do you want? You say you're a conservative, but Trump, United States president, they get to choose who sits at the U.S. Supreme Court, which I think was a very important issue. But I think Ben Shapiro was just playing both sides of the aisle. I think he was that typical establishment, Republican establishment who doesn't like an outsider. And I think he's still that way. Now he's doing some fundraising for Trump because he has no options.
Right. But okay. But I want to bring up this thing about conservatives. They talk about free speech, right?
Yeah.
How liberals or the left
Conservatives
like to
talk more about it,
silence,
without a doubt. Yeah.
They cancel culture and all this.
Mhm.
Now, what does this mean for conservatives now? This hypocrisy now, so there is no free speech.
Yeah, no, I think there is no free speech in certain outlets, and I think there's a civil war happening because of Candace Owens versus Ben Shapiro. And I would say probably 7 to 8 out of 10 are siding with Candace.
Mm-hmm.
That's the initial feeling. I didn't do specific polling. I didn't see any scientific polling regarding that. But I believe most people, including me, are on Candace, Team Candace, rather than Team Ben Shapiro. Because Ben Shapiro, I think Andrew Schultz, he said it in his podcast.
The comedian.
The comedian. Andrew Schultz said, when he watches the Daily Wire, if he watches Ben Shapiro's show, it sounds like he's very pro-Israel, but somehow he hates half of Americans. Because him being an establishment conservative.
Right.
So he's like, aren't you an American first? That was his question.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you an American first? And, he's not even an Israel citizen, right? As far as I'm concerned. So I think there's a division that's happening right now, and I think there's some soul searching too. Because I think conservatives always thought conservatives are for free speech. We would let anybody talk, like
Right.
the mainstream liberals, they wouldn't talk with certain, group of people. Like I don't
Right.
think Douglas would be invited, or David Yoon would be invited that well in the mainstream. You know what I'm saying, right?
Right. Yeah. You don't hear their voices like theirs in the mainstream. But I think it's kind of. I lost my train of thought actually.
No, you were right about conservatives. I think conservatives prided themselves of being more pro freedom of speech over the mainstream liberals like New York Times, Washington Post, and they kind of filter everything else. That's why we call them fake news. But now it's like we give like the liberals a weapon. See, we told you so. You guys have these kind of issues too. So I think as a whole. I think Jesse Waters, Fox News host Jesse Waters said it best. He said he really hates this civil war because it shows the weakness of conservative side.
Right,
as
but
well.
you see that most conservatives are siding with Candace now, right?
I think so.
Now, that's what I've seen also, like just people in general. Obviously leftists are also siding with Candace.
Without a doubt, yeah, I can see
And so if leftists are siding with Candace and most conservatives are siding with Candace, this move by the Daily Wire, and if Ben Shapiro really is the number one voice for Israel in America, then he might actually be its greatest enemy because he's making Zionism look so bad. He's making Israel look so bad. So this actually might backfire, and Israel may end up losing a lot of because most of the support is from the conservative, I'd say more from the conservatives. So he may end up losing a lot of Israel may end up losing a lot of support.
I don't think he's just losing Israel support. Even in America, it seems like a lot of subscribers have been dropping. I heard that Ben Shapiro's YouTube show subscribers have been dipping ever since this Candace Owens debacle because, like you said, I mean, his slogan was "Facts don't care about your feelings," but it seems like Ben Shapiro doesn't want to talk about the facts when it comes to Israel and Palestine issues, the historic.
Right.
I mean, it's not like 100% what he's saying is wrong, or Candace Owens is 100% correct. It's not about that, but at least having some kind of open discourse, open discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And you always talk about how important it is for. I think he emphasized and re-emphasized that point that everybody has to have their free speech. On that front, I always agreed with him. But now, if it comes to Israel and Palestine issue, I think there's a certain bylaw, a Daily Wire bylaw, I guess. Probably so Candace Owens intruded that bylaw, I guess.
Right.
It seems like.
Now, we talked about Doug earlier and how I said Doug and Ben Shapiro have similar energy.
See that?
Yeah, I'm worried that Doug is going to start going crazy on me on Twitter.
You don't need to worry about that.
No, let me FaceTime him real quick.
No, I mean, I think he would pride himself that he gives negative energy.
No, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Hey, Doug. Hey,
hi, Doug.
We're recording now, and
Are you at San Fran?
Yeah, I'm in San Francisco.
You're in San Francisco?
How's the homeless situation there and the fentanyl issue?
There is no issue. I'm in an area that's kind of like suburby.
Okay.
So I am not seeing any fentanyl.
Nazi. Okay.
I don't go to the downtown area where it's the night of the Walking Dead. So
We just talked about you, Doug. So
Hey,
Michael
wait, no,
wanted
wait. Hey, Doug. So I wanted to warn you.
wait, is this on the episode right now or what?
Yes.
It is, man.
Is this KTown Social Club or what?
Yeah, it is. I just wanted to warn you. We were talking about Ben Shapiro, and I was saying how you and Ben Shapiro have similar energy, and I wanted to, let you know that in advance so you don't go ham on me on Twitter later. Is that okay?
I guess so. I don't know why this had to be in the episode.
No, because I have flashbacks from what you've done in the past, and I'm like, oh no. But I just mean like, you know what I mean? Do you get it? The energy.
No, he's retarded. So.
Yeah, he's retarded, but there's like an energy, right? Or you disagree with that?
Wait, are you allowed to say that on your show?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
Whoa, canceled! Oh no, Doug said the R word.
What did you just say? Woke cancel what?
Doug said the R word.
The R word.
What's the R word?
Retard.
What's that?
Retard.
Retard. Okay. So
Anyway,
Doug, you don't like Ben Shapiro either, right?
But you're not offended, right?
Slur.
Douglas,
I'm not
because I think
offended,
we worry because you get off on Twitter. I think you have a lot of enemies. You have a lot of hit list, shit list, and Michael just don't want to be on that list, man, because of your sensitivity.
What are you guys even talking about that?
Because of your sensitivity, because we know that you can become kind of sensitive.
On this episode to
We were just talking about Ben Shapiro, and you just
Yeah.
happened to pop up, so
Yeah.
that's all.
And Michael
Okay,
just
well,
was
we could've-
concerned enough
could've
and
asked me this after-
careful and considerate enough to call you live.
Yeah, but hey, when are you coming back?
I am coming back Saturday.
Oh, so you can join us next week.
Wait, what is this every Monday then? Is this going to be every Monday?
Monday, Tuesday.
I think it's gonna be every Monday and Tuesday. Yeah.
Where's David?
Well, he's
Tomorrow.
not here.
Oh.
Oh,
You mean David Kim is coming tomorrow?
so you two are the kind of like
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
So it's
it's-
every day.
Oh, you're
it's a
talking
daily
about
show
your
then?
communist colleague?
Yeah, it's a daily show then.
No, like twice a week. Hey, we can have this conversation later because we're recording now. Do you see the screen
Well, I don't even understand why this Ben Shapiro thing had to be on your episode.
No, because of your
right now.
sensitivity, man. You're
Calling
sensitive.
me. You could have just told me after the episode.
Okay, well, anyway, okay, cool. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not going to come after you. I'm just going to think you're retarded for making that.
He just went after you, man.
see, here it begins here. Okay.
I guess if that's going after you, then yes, sure.
But nothing on Twitter, okay?
All right.
Yeah, please, calm down there. Okay.
All right then. You have a good one, Doug, and we'll talk to you next time.
Are you getting PTSD from your other former employee?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Man, he just goes there, man. Douglas,
This dude is crazy.
He needs a lot of.
You're the one that just called me, so you get you get the whole package.
Okay, Doug.
The whole explosive package.
Right. Sounds good, man. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
He's funny.
Yeah, Douglas.
And you know what? We can't censor that out.
Hey,
so.
wasn't Douglas a conservative too? You said no. Did he have a conservative face?
No, I think he was Doug was a libertarian, and which is, I guess you could consider, on the spectrum, the political spectrum, like, here's the centrist or whatever. And then you have conservatives, and then libertarians here.
Yeah,
so libertarians, conservatives, the middle, liberals, and then other leftists, communists, socialists, whatever. So it's interesting because libertarians can be called very far right, yet there's the far right has things in common with the far left.
Yeah, I see that.
Like
too. Yeah.
they are outside of the mainstream establishment of liberal and conservative.
They both don't like establishments. I think that's the common denominator.
Yeah, so I think libertarians, libertarians believe in like free market capitalism and freedom and liberty and all that. They don't believe in taxes, I think. Anyway,
they don't believe in intruding other people as far as they don't.
The foreign policy is also like don't mess with others. At least it was before. I don't know about now.
It used to be, but I never agreed with that idea. But we have our friend Larry Elder, who's you think he's
he's a good guy. I mean,
not
personally,
a capital libertarian.
He's a good guy, but
not a capital.
Anyway, that's just
okay.
He's a Republican now, right?
He's a Republican now.
But libertarians believe that and believe that capitalism will lead to the best,
they do.
things and all that.
Yeah.
But they are against what they call crony capitalism, is, people using money or influence to control the government in a way to make things advantageous for for the corporations or for the wealthy. And that's why, I'm not a libertarian, even though I used to be.
You used to be, right?
Like when I was in high school. I think it's because eventually, as I got older, I realized no matter how much I believe in libertarianism and how the free market is good and all this, at the end of the day, no matter what, the market, the powerful, the wealthy, they are going to control society to benefit themselves. So in that sense, libertarianism doesn't work because the free market cannot help but lead to that kind of manipulation later on. Like it's built into it. So,
I think a lot of conservatives do agree with you on the sense that libertarian. I never agreed with it because they don't care about other people that much. In a way,
right?
That you don't care about the movement, and a lot of conservatives have criticized libertarians of being the reason for that. The rise of the social, the progressive movement. Because they didn't care, all they cared about was their own lives. If their own lives were, flying high, then everything's okay. That's pretty much what how I see libertarianism. So I think there was a big flaw in that. Even Larry Elder himself, who claims to be a super, big libertarian, he says he changed his mind too through because he really criticized Donald Trump's. He was a little bit of a protectionism regarding trade, right? So he criticized him. That's not against free market, but he later said he changed his mind and now understands why he implemented those policies. So I think libertarianism is one of the main reason why a lot of conservative movement had stunted. I think it really because a lot of my libertarian friends too, they seem to not care too much how everything goes around their world. I think we should care. We should care about how other people feel, and if we believe what we believe is right, we should try to persuade them or try to convert. I think that there's nothing wrong with that about that. I think it's more natural. I think being a libertarian is like you pretty much isolate yourself from what's going on around the world. That's how I see it.
Perhaps. I never really thought about it like that, but I see libertarians as kind of good people, but like they're naive, but good-hearted people. They believe in the goodness of, I don't know.
But even regarding drugs, it's like if you want to do drugs, and if it doesn't, they're so open about it. You know what I mean? I think I'm a little bit against that. You
I mean, I remember seeing a meme online once saying, "What's the most libertarian thing you can think of?" Because libertarians are like absolute, anything goes.
Exactly.
Like
Anything
including
goes.
child labor, drugs, all that.
Even child labor is okay with
Right.
them.
So the meme was, "What's the most libertarian thing you can think of?" And it was like a 5-year-old kid working 12-hour shifts at a cocaine factory. Mm-hmm. Like that's a very libertarian thing. It's extreme, but that is all doable
it is.
under libertarianism.
And under that, any kind of heinous act can be okay, right? Because it's probably the cycle of life. You can analyze it that way. What can we do about it? It's like it lacks empathy in my view. I don't know.
Well, I guess if you talk to libertarians, they'll have some other view of it. Yeah, they have an answer for everything. I mean, Larry Elder was a libertarian, and I used to listen to him on the radio in the 90s.
I used to listen to him all the time.
Yeah, 790 KABC. And he even wrote a book.
And actually, Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens were heavily influenced by Larry Elder. That is for a fact. They themselves even talked about it.
Ben Shapiro talked about Larry Elder,
Ben Shapiro talked about it too. And Candace Owens did too.
And then,
she forwarded even for his book. So it's all true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, well, he influenced me as, in the 90s. But he was a hardcore libertarian.
He's hardcore, yeah.
And I would listen to him on the radio, and he would get into these discussions or debates with callers.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever lost.
He's very good at debating.
He's a master debater.
Yeah, he's a debater. He's a great
He's
debater.
a master debater.
Yeah, so that's why it sounds super logical, right? Libertarianism.
Yeah, it does, but it sounds logical, but libertarians live in their own world.
Bubble. Yeah.
They don't consider outside external things. So, just like they believe, free market is good because if you all compete freely, fairly, and then only the best will survive in the market. The best product will survive in the marketplace. If two companies are competing and making the best products, well, the best product will survive. Therefore, and they'll compete on price and all this. So we're going to get the best products at the best prices, the best services, and that's why capitalism is great. Without considering that capitalist powers, the big companies can collaborate even to raise prices together or become one and monopolize and raise prices or even hinder progress and technology that could improve our lives in order to make more money over the long term. For example, isn't it more profitable to treat disease rather than to cure disease?
I think that's what's going on in America right now too, yeah.
So libertarians don't consider those kinds of things, and eventually that's why
that would be free market for libertarianism too, right? They wouldn't have that ethical decision to eradicate the disease. They would rather support treating the disease, right, for the benefit of big pharma.
Well, I don't know about libertarians, but businesses in general, like in a capitalist society, if you're trying to make money, like if I own a medical pharmaceutical company or something, and I have stockholders, and we have our earnings, and we have to do all this, then I get this note like, hey, we can treat cancer, help it, and we can make $10 billion a year doing this, or we can come up with a cure and we can make, I don't know, 10 billion like at once, and like that's it. Really, I'd rather get more and more money. You know, I mean, as a company, from a company perspective, not as a human. And you know, that's why I think government funding of this kind of stuff, like health and trying to cure disease and, you know, all that would be better. But libertarians also don't believe in that.
No.
They think that the only thing government should do is like protect its citizens.
I think
you know,
yeah,
like,
at a bare minimum, right? So
Yeah.
the security, national security, probably.
and I don't
that's
think
the only
they,
thing.
yeah, I don't think they consider healthcare to be like protecting
No.
citizens. So
They're against Medicare for all. I think libertarians.
yeah,
right? Yeah.
even I even heard them saying like, you know, the roads should be private. You know,
Yeah.
they would be better managed if they're private, which may be true, maybe, but can we all afford it? And also they talk about efficiency. So for example, you know, if a private company took over some public transportation, they can become more efficient. They can, I don't even remember the example specific, but a private company ended up taking over this public transportation thing, and they did become more efficient. So the operation stopped losing money. It started making money, but it came at the cost of what? So the public transportation would stop at like midnight, and it wouldn't start again until later. They weren't as clean anymore. So now it's dirtier. And then the people that work and rely on public transportation who work like graveyard shift, now they don't have any access to transportation. So from a private standpoint, okay, you turn this thing that's losing money into making money, but from a societal standpoint, now you have a bunch of workers who can't get to work because they work in the middle of the night. So is that overall good for society or bad for society? I'd say it's a net negative.
I think the libertarian, like you just said, regarding the disease front, I would say they're more for free market. So I believe their ideology is wrong. Personally, I think it's just by that alone, isn't it wrong? If there's a cure for something, wouldn't you choose cure over treatment?
Of course, cure would always
Regardless
be,
of the market, you know, there's a potential $10 billion market here. Probably I'm being naive, I guess.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, billions and billions of dollars. That's going to be hard for some people to give up.
Yeah, probably.
They're like, let him die, or you know, we'll I don't know, something. I mean, even now, you look at all the wars. A lot of them are for profit, to make money. So if we're willing to like directly kill people for money, then why would we not prevent people from not stop the prevention of people from dying in order to make more money also?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can talk about it now since YouTube lifted the guideline regarding ivermectin. FDA actually, you remember the FDA criticized, it was on their tweet, FDA official tweet said, it said, ivermectin, that's a horse, what do you say,
Horse tranquilizer?
Yeah,
or?
horse tranquilizer, whatever, y'all. You know, that's what it said, y'all. You know,
Y'all?
They say y'all. Yeah, you know, it was
FDA
FDA.
said that?
FDA said that on their tweet. But later, there were 3 doctors who sued FDA regarding this. So what FDI did, they settled a couple weeks ago, and they decided to not criticize ivermectin. Before it said that it doesn't work, but they decided to remove all that.
Right. Okay.
And, you know, and it's just, I think that's a classic example
Right.
of what happened. Because ivermectin is so cheap. It's dirt cheap. It's
Right.
dirt cheap, and it got Nobel Prize. What I understand is a Japanese scientist came up with ivermectin, and he got a Nobel Prize for that.
Right.
And people were saying this is a dangerous drug. This is for horses. That's what FDA said. Hey, this is for horses. It's not for human beings, y'all. And they, well, you know, it's just ridiculous. And I guess profit matters to, I guess, you know, the power
Right.
of Pfizer, the power of Moderna. Nobody even talked about Moderna 10 years ago, but out of the blue, Moderna became one of the biggest companies out there. I guess it's just how the world works, and we're just trying to be naive. I guess probably we have it wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I see the system for what it is, and what can I do? I just live in it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
back to Ben Shapiro. Do you think the system protects him over some other political pundits on YouTube,
I mean,
on Twitter, on all these platforms, because it
clearly-
seems like he
okay.
doesn't get shadow banned.
Clearly, Dave Chappelle was, he said this on SNL. If there's a group of black people, it's a gang. It's a group of Italians. It's a mob. But it's a group of Jews. It's a coincidence, and you're not supposed to talk about it. And yeah, there's obviously a very,
and I bet a lot of people laughed when he made that joke.
Yeah, no, there's a very Jewish influence in media, Hollywood, and media, and all this.
They own it. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say own it, but there's heavily influential people all over the place. All the media people that we admire, like Mike Wallace. He's Jewish. I mean, look at all the people that we watch on TV. We see so many Jewish influencers. Like,
I mean, it is a fact. It's fine. I don't really like.
Yeah, I'm not complaining when I'm saying this. It's a fact.
But I'm saying it is true that a lot of Jews control the media, or they have a lot of influence. And, I mean, if a bunch of Koreans were in, like, okay, we're not supposed to even say this because it's like, oh, it's anti-Semitic. But, if a bunch of Chinese people were this heavily powerful in Hollywood and the media, or if they were Russian or North Korean or Iranian or Cuban, we'd be talking about it nonstop, like what's going on. But because they're Jewish, they have special protection for some reason. So obviously, because why? Jewish people in media, obviously, they're going to be more friendly towards, their value of what
I think
for their side. And if many Jews, not all Jews are Zionists and support Israel, but I don't know what percent of them do, but let's say a lot or most of them do. And if a lot of them are in media, then of course they're going to support it, and they're going to use whatever influence and power they have to make sure that pro-Israel voices get out there and limit the pro-Palestinian voices. That's just natural, but at least we got to call it out and say, hey, that's what's going on. At least we have to mention that.
Do you think
reality?
Do you think non-religious Jews also are very pro-Israel, or they don't care? Like people, many Jews, they don't believe anything. I think many Jews are atheists,
culturally
and agnostics.
Jewish or something like that.
Yeah, very few. I think I don't know the exact percentage how the breakdown is, but the ones who goes to the
you mean what is it?
Synagogues every week. I think those percentages are actually decreasing as years go by. So, do you see that? Do you see that from your Jewish friends or
Jewish friends?
I mean, I have a lot of Jewish friends, but I think half of them are not religious.
Okay, I've only had one Jewish friend that I can think of, and we never talked about any of this. Yeah, I don't even know. And he was from Russia. I have no idea, but
actually, these things we didn't even talk about like decades ago, right? I don't think these were open discourse like Jewish. It was more of a alternative or like underground discussions, to be honest with you.
Well, it was always called like anti-Semitic.
Just by talking about it?
Yeah, you're not supposed to talk about it. It's funny because I saw this speech given, it was in the 90s. I saw a clip of a speech, and it was given by a former Mossad agent, which is like Israeli CIA.
CIA, yeah.
And
is Jeffrey Epstein there?
Who knows, maybe. But the former Mossad guy or whatever, he was saying how anytime that there was somebody who said something they didn't like, it didn't matter whether it was true or not, they would just throw the label anti-Semitic at them. And no matter whether it was true or not, it would stick. And then eventually we get to a point where people, they didn't want that label, so they'd be afraid to say anything about Israel or Jews or Jewish people. I mean, similarly, if anyone talks about China or whatever, or Russia, do we hear, oh, you're anti-Chinese, you're anti-Russian, but we always hear anti-Semitic. And then, okay, well, but what about if people who support Palestine, are they anti-Semitic? I don't even, what is a Semite? What is that?
Semite means Jew, right?
Does it?
Different word. That's what I understand. So I have many Jewish friends. I didn't even had this concept before, about it. But I think when Candace Owens, when recently she last year on her tweet when they were going back and forth, was it this year? Between Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, she tweeted out, "Christ is King," right? So they consider that very anti-Semitic, and I have issues with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because how could that be an anti-Semitic message? It just doesn't make sense.
Actually, that does remind me. I did have a Jew friend another Jew friend in high school, and I asked him once, "What do you think about Jesus?" And he just started talking so much trash. I just remember that now. He's saying, "You know how many people were claiming to be the Messiah? He's just a fake, just like all the
That's
others."
what Ben Shapiro said. That's exactly what Ben Shapiro said, that he's just one of the rebels who went against the Roman Empire and got killed. That's
Right.
what he said.
And then that reminds me of videos that I've seen from Israel where there's Christians there, and like Israeli adults and kids will walk past the Christians and like spit at them, or even attack them. Like, so to me, it boggles my mind why the Christian right here, I guess the evangelical community, why are they so pro-Israel? Israel looks at them as, like, I think
You're saying the Israel Jewish people, Jews there,
the
right?
Jewish belief is that they are the chosen people, and all the others, what Goyim or whatever we are.
No, Gentiles.
Okay, maybe that's Goyim. Okay, maybe that's some other word for something else. But like we exist, we exist to serve the chosen people.
No, I don't. Okay, so Christians, why do Christians support Israel? It's because it's in the Bible, and it's not about necessarily the people or the government. I think it's a nation, because it's God's nation, is Israel. So in that sense, it's not about, like, if they do heinous things or corrupt things that we support that.
Right.
It's not on that line, I think. So I think many people confuse in that sense. We separate the government, the people, and I believe God uses both good and evil people. I mean, even the rise of Israel, many people have issues about how it rose up when the Rothschild family got involved, how it funded Israel, whether they're still involved in Israel. And some people have been arguing that because of the Rothschild family being involved here, they made a direct line to America. And these people here also got to spread their influence all over America. So some people argue that. But regardless of that, I think in the holy sense, in the biblical sense, it's more about the country itself, not the government.
Okay,
or the people
fine.
there.
The country itself, fine. Evangelicals want to support, an actual state, a country called Israel, fine. But a country can do bad things.
Without a
So
doubt, yeah.
why don't they at least call out the government of Israel? I'll say, hey, we support the existence of a Israeli state, but you guys are fucked up. And a lot of these, they're people who move from like Europe or even like Brooklyn or LA. They can just move to Israel and like take over and get a house.
I think
and kick out people that have been living there for hundreds of years.
So I think that's what Candace Owens rose, that issue. Candace Owens was saying, these are, if it's wrong, we have to point it out. And actually, she said that she was going to Gaza. That's what I understand, when she was working for Daily Wire.
They can't allow that.
And then that was when the hammer went down. They said, I think, Candace, you got to go. I think that's exactly what
I don't
happened.
think they would they even let her in? Because that's all controlled by Israel. And, it's like...
And Ben Shapiro flip-flopped. You know what he said before? Like years ago in 2017, what he said was, Israel should protect its own country. We don't need America's help. But now he flipped and saying America should support. So he's going back and forth. And they're going to have a debate. I think they agreed upon a debate, Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. First, Ben Shapiro said, let's do it at Daily Wire, his home base at Tennessee. But Candace Owens said, hey, I just got fired there. Why would I go back there?
Daily Wire's at Tennessee?
It's at Tennessee. Okay. They used to be in Los Angeles, California, but during the pandemic, they moved to Tennessee. Ben Shapiro is the only one who's staying in Florida, so he says he goes there only twice a week or something. But anyway.
Only twice a week he goes from Florida to Tennessee?
Something like that.
Only?
Yeah, only. Once or twice.
Okay.
But
is he private jetting?
So Candace Owens, I think they decided on a mutual ground somewhere. I don't know, but they decided to do this debate. And they did a poll. I think Patrick Bet-David actually did a poll about it, and it said, who do you think is going to win, Candace Owens or Ben Shapiro? And Ben Shapiro is known to be pretty good debater. Is he a good debater, or is he just picking on college kids? Michael.
Well, Norman Finkelstein said he would love to debate Ben Shapiro if Ben Shapiro could stop just debating like college freshmen, but he won't debate Finkelstein. So
I did see him debate against the
Finkelstein?
Young Turks, Zenk Uyghur. Zenk Uyghur
Yeah,
got
but
destroyed on that one. No.
the Young Turks are not exactly okay.
True,
The Young
true.
Turks are very liberal. I don't think liberals are very easy to
Destroy in debates.
verbally
right?
you know,
Annihilate.
yeah, because and I'm not a conservative, but
hmm
I consider myself a leftist, but
hmm
I can see how liberals, their hypocrisy is so easy to
Yeah.
just. I mean, from my point of view, like conservatives are hypocritical and all this too, but it's more like in your face. Like it's more like
More honest about it, you think? More just.
if I were to
dim
put it in
hide?
like a
No.
comedic way, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. What you gonna do about it?" Like that's to me, that's a conservative.
Really.
But to me,
That's-
a liberal
that's
is
odd.
more like, "Hey, man, I'm on your side, buddy," and then stabs you in
Which
the
is
back.
more heinous?
Well, to me, I think the liberal's worse.
Yeah.
Because Malcolm X was the same. It's like the conservatives are the devil. The devil shows you his teeth, his intent to destroy you. The liberal smiles at you.
So that's why a lot of conservatives notice that too, and I think personally, I think Tucker Carlson is doing the right thing. I think I like him.
Right. And that's why you see the crazy thing now is I'm seeing like far left, like socialists or communists or whatever, engaging with
Exactly.
these people
That's happening
on,
right now.
on the right. Like,
Yeah.
what's his name? Jackson Hinkle. And, he talks about MAGA communism, like conservative, like he's promoting communism to like a conservative audience. It's very,
You mean the MAGA
Interesting.
communist people, right?
yeah,
There's
like
people like
they're
that,
very
right?
like pro-America,
Yeah.
like patriotic.
Mhm.
They look very American. They look like conservatives, but
But they're communists.
but what they talk about like ending the war machine and corporate power over society, and it's like, well, yeah, like how can conservatives be against that? But
Like Jimmy Dore too, right? Jimmy Dore would be a perfect example for being a progressive.
yeah, Jimmy
left.
Dore is a leftist.
Leftist, he's a leftist.
I'd say he's an actual like hardcore socialist.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But he talks to people on the far right. He even talked to Alex Jones recently.
He invited him. Yeah.
I remember when he spit on Alex Jones.
And it landed inside his mouth.
I don't remember that, but I
That's
remember
what Alex Jones.
I remember he spit on Alex Jones, and then Anna Kasparian and
An experience.
oh
and
yeah,
Zank.
Alex was calling out Cenk on like, you don't talk about Saudi
He
Arabia.
crashed him, right? Didn't he crash his show? I don't know who
it was like
crashed
a
whose.
big event.
It was a
and,
Republican National Convention. I was actually there. Cleveland. It was Cleveland.
Oh, you were?
I was there.
Did you hear all the commotion when that? happened?
I saw it from afar, but no, I didn't, but I heard it
Yeah.
afterwards, and it was kind of there was some kind of commotion.
Yeah, but
there.
it was pretty crazy, and Cenk, suddenly he got all angry, like we talk about Saudi Arabia all the time. But it looked like that fake anger, like he's trying to sound outraged, like he stands for
I think
something.
he's a fake dude. I think Zank, I don't think he really believes what he's saying. You know what I mean? Jimmy Dore, I believe what he's saying. Zank, I kind of doubt him.
I think there's a reason why Jimmy left the Young Turks. There's a reason why, because Jimmy was getting too extreme, and the Young Turks, according to Jimmy, got a lot of money, like what Katzenberg or some Clinton.
Oh, David
Connect-
Katzenberg.
I
from
guess
DreamWorks.
I don't know, but this is according to Jimmy Dore, like some
He's also Jewish.
Katzenberg money. They got like millions of dollars, and they have to be careful about what they say. So I think the Young Turks, essentially, it was supposed to be like an alternative voice to the mainstream, like CNN, MSNBC, but then they ended up being taken over by the actual establishment elements themselves. Just like conservative alternative, like
News.
no, not Fox. That is the mainstream, but I'm talking like even the Daily Wire.
Yeah.
So this alternative media is all part of the same
They are.
system
think so.
now.
I think so.
So people have to be very careful, I think, where they get their news from. Like you have to, it's hard because most of the stuff you're going to find is going to be biased in favor of
Establishment.
the establishment. So to find the truly independent voices and that kind of journalism and reporting, you got to go to, unfortunately,
Not even
probably
on
hard
YouTube,
to-
right? It's hard to even find it on YouTube, man.
they're on YouTube, but
But they get shadow
they might
banned.
just be like individuals, not necessarily
Yeah.
like from a media organization. So
Yeah, I think it was a wonderful thing when Jimmy Dore invited Alex Jones, because they used to be nemesis, right, for a very long time. But I think they found a common ground, and I think Jimmy Dore, after he left the Young Turks, I believe Jimmy Dore is a truth seeker. I think Alex Jones is also a truth seeker. I think Tucker Carlson is also a truth seeker. So I think a lot of people who have been tired of these establishment echo chamber, they've been leaving. They've been leaving here and listening to these folks. You know, the ones
Right.
who were probably financially damaged, I would say. Even Tucker got fired from Fox. And Jimmy Dore, he also left a huge company, Young Turks. It's pretty huge, right? He left there. And also Alex Jones, I think he was deplatformed by more than 100 plus platforms. So
yeah,
that's why people gravitate towards these people. At least they want to hear it out and see for themselves whether what they're saying is true or not.
yeah. I think personally, I don't believe in free speech.
I know.
I don't believe in free markets. I don't believe in any
Because
of
you
that.
think people can easily get distracted and fall into this trap. That's why, right?
Right. I mean, speech. Okay. Do you believe in free action? Nobody believes in free action, doing what you want.
No, that's true. You're right.
But speech is also action. Speech can incite action. We've heard the pen is mightier than the sword.
True. Like in a theater, we can't yell
Right.
fire.
But you can also promote hatred with speech. So for me, I don't believe in free speech. But Ben Shapiro doesn't either.
No.
I've never met an American who truly believes in free speech, because they say, yeah, I believe in free speech. But when you start really questioning them, can we say this? Can we say? You realize nobody actually believes in it. We claim it in this country that we have free speech, but it actually doesn't exist, nor should it, because truly absolute free speech is dangerous.
I know. And I think,
Free market is dangerous too.
yeah. When we were talking about it, all the people that we talked about, there were many Jewish people. But just by mentioning them Jewish, sometimes I feel sensitive about it too. Do you think that in itself could be viewed as anti-Semitic? Oh, he's a Jewish person. Like David, we were talking about Katzenberg, right, who was a founder for DreamWorks, or like Steven Spielberg, because there are so many of them. There's supposedly 0.2% of the world, but when we talk about media, when we talk about big tech, even Mark Zuckerberg, he's also Jewish, and even
Doug's friend. Yeah.
Doug's friend, but Doug somehow he doesn't want to criticize TikTok that much on that front.
Oh, he's gonna come. Doug's gonna come after you now. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean,
No, that was true.
I mean,
because
I know
he didn't want
most
to.
people, they don't want to talk about Jewish people or whatever.
Yeah, just by
and-
mentioning it, is it an anti-Semitic?
No, because it's been kind of conditioned like, oh, it's all conspiracy, it's anti-Semitic. Don't you know 6 million died and all that? It's that's how it is. You're not supposed to talk about it, but if we speak so freely about Chinese, and what's that guy Cotton asking the
Tom Cotton on
yeah,
Senator.
yeah,
US
asking
Senator.
the Singaporean, are you a member of the China? What if we do that to a Jewish person? Like,
But do you consider Jews more Caucasian? Because many Asians, to them they kind of look they can't distinguish. Can you distinguish? It's not easy. So it's like, are they a minority or are they one of the majority? Are they playing both sides? I don't even know about that.
I don't really know.
But is it confusing just by this question alone? Do you have like a concrete answer? Say, oh no, they are minority people. There are very few ethnic. It's a few ethnic group.
I don't know what to call them. I mean, I've seen, I think even faces from like Afghanistan or Syria where they can look pretty Caucasian too. So
Yeah, it's just by not race alone. You can believe Judaism and then become. You can be an
Yeah.
Asian. You can be a
No,
black.
there are like black
you can,
Jews.
There are
yeah.
black Jews, exactly.
Just like, but yeah, like there was a National Geographic cover from like the 80s, I think from Afghanistan, the girl with the blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't know if they're white or whatever, but what I heard was most of the Jews were like converted years ago, but they were like European. They're not originally even from that land, whereas the Palestinians have been there even since the time of Christ.
And didn't you also say that there is some kind of discrimination among even the Jewish group too? That's the people who got, No. What I heard was the people who got converted, they are treated higher in the hierarchy. That's what I learned.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Yeah.
But I think a lot of Koreans, Koreans tend to like and respect Jewish as a whole. You do
No,
know that,
I
right?
get it.
We call Koreans call themselves like the second coming of Jews. 제2의 유대인, and they probably because they have been so influential that I think Koreans who has suffered from poverty for such a long time, I think they wanted to aspire to be this kind of powerful, influential, and probably even rich community and ethnic group like them.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, I see that.
You know that, right?
I mean, I don't see that as bad. Like, I wish Koreans would be more like Jews and kind of, unite their strength together and use it for good of our community and, help spread that goodness to other communities rather than, what some others might be doing.
I mean, like Korea, they're going the opposite with South and North Korea being divided, and even within South Korea, it's divided. Within the 지역 감정 and all that. There's an election actually coming.
And that leads to
tomorrow.
Korean people being weak or nowhere near as strong as we could be, because when you have an entire country divided for like 75 years or whatever it is now, and there's still division even within South Korea about, your Chongbuk or,
just even
and then the Koreans here who think more the American way, we're all divided, and it's not good for us. I think it comes from too much differing information. Yeah.
So on that sense, we have to probably learn from the Jewish community and kind of try to unite better. How they did it so well, say they did something that other ethnic groups probably didn't figure out. So
we got to get more involved in media and banking and whatever else. What else is there?
Banking, media, big tech, entertainment. I don't know. I mean, they are so influential and powerful. It's just, I think they help each other. That's the key. I think Jewish people, they help each other, and I think that makes a strong community. I think.
Hey, if Koreans were running Hollywood, like the producers and directors and all that, we'd have if Koreans were owning the production companies of Hollywood, you know what? We'd be hiring a bunch of Korean directors, a bunch of Korean producers, a bunch of Korean actors. Writers, and people would be like, "Hey, Koreans are running Hollywood," and we'd be like, "You're anti-Korean." No, it's true.
So that
they have a lot of I'm not saying they run it all, but they have a lot of influence. And especially during the 2016 election, they had much more. Israel had much more influence on our elections than Russia did.
They did. They really did. Russia didn't do anything. It was like $100,000.
Whatever Russia may have done
was all BS. By Hillary
was like
Clinton
nothing
campaign
compared to what Russia did. Like secretly or whatever the conspiracy.
The collusion was done by the Democratic side, and you know that it was Hillary Clinton who funded.
Fine, but whatever.
Thing.
But even if that's true, even if all that's true, it doesn't even compare to the open and blatant. The open and blatant manipulation done by Israel.
So are we going to set up a KPAC or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be, was it American Israeli Political Action Committee, I guess? It would be called ACPAC, America, Korea.
Okay, ACPAC, that's good. American Korea Political Action Committee or Political Action.
Whatever it is, APAC, whatever that stands for. Public Affairs? No, I don't know. But
it is Political Action, I think, Commission, I think. But anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. What did we talk about today? It's almost up.
It was all, Ben Shapiro and Candace.
Okay, it was
all
Ben
led
Shapiro,
up to Korean
Douglas.
community. We should unite.
Douglas called me a retard. What else?
Are you going to get back to him? Yeah. Douglas being a communist, and we also have David Yoon
who's also a
communist. I think there's a reason. I think they are disenfranchised people. That's why I think somehow capitalism didn't work for them. That ideology. So it's not like they're forced to be that way. They're just natural. They naturally.
I think capitalism worked quite well for Doug.
Yeah, he's a poker.
I mean,
winner, right?
but you know, that's the other thing is like just because capitalism works out really well for someone doesn't mean, you know, it's like I've seen like, hey, you know, I became a multimillionaire. Like, you know, it's good for me. It's like, well, okay, you're kind of ignoring and
the mass.
everyone else, like including people who, you know, maybe work full time or maybe have multiple jobs and still struggle. Like, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, the cost of living is a bit crazy. I you know, and I saw something like the, I think I saw like on the news. Oh, so what I did see in the news yesterday was something like some Democrats or something are trying to rename a prison like Trump prison or something.
Trump prison.
I'm just like, okay, instead of doing that, why don't you just try to improve the lives of people instead of trying to get little cheap shots in like who cares?
But anyway, good discussion today, Michael. Probably we can have more of a deep dive regarding this issue.
Yeah, it's just two of us, so it's kind of. But before we go,
it was
though,
good discussion, man.
Yeah, good discussion. But before we go, you didn't tell me what you did on the weekend. What'd you do Friday?
Friday, you know, when weekends just passes, I don't even remember what I did. Friday, I don't know. I did something, I guess. Oh, I did laundry.
Okay.
Is that
well, I do laundry too. Okay.
I washed dishes. I did a lot of chores.
Okay, so you were a housekeeper.
I did that kind of thing.
Okay, what'd you do Saturday? What'd you eat? Did you have BCD? Donkasu? Oh.
No, Sunday I ate Panda Express.
Panda, okay.
Saturday.
2 items. Half and half?
No. I did 1 plus 2.
3 items.
Yeah. So rice.
Rice
I
and the
half
chow
and
mein.
half. Rice and the chow mein, orange chicken plus.
Orange chicken, broccoli beef, and kung pao.
Yeah. How did you know, man?
Just guess.
I regretted the kung pao. Kung pao chicken sucked, so I complained. I was thinking about should I complain
What a
or not?
Karen
Because
here.
it tasted like urine, you know. So I complained.
Well, I don't know what
really
urine
smells
tastes
bad.
like, so.
No,
What does urine taste like?
I don't know, man. And I complained to the manager, hey,
this tastes like urine.
It doesn't taste good. And he's like, oh, we can give some. Do you want us to give something else? And I said, it's fine, you know. But yeah,
okay.
And Saturday, what did I eat? I don't remember. Man, Saturday, what did I eat? You know, I remember like something that happened like 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
Oh, wait, so
10 years ago.
You were still on Friday. Okay. Well, okay.
That's the Sunday one, though.
Okay. Oh, so that was yesterday.
The Panda Express
after
was
church.
yesterday. Yeah, I mean dinner.
Okay.
There, yeah, but it was on event. I mean, yeah. So yeah, had fun. Yeah, weekend. Yeah.
Cool.
So, food meals were all okay. Ate 3 times, 3 squares. So everything was good.
So the most interesting that happened to you was that you did laundry and had Panda Express. Okay.
Went to the park too.
Went to the park.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
That'll be probably it. Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll be back next time with
our next
coming
guest
back
will
with
be
David Kim, who's running for Congress, and
John Yee, who's running for state assembly seat.
Okay, and we hope they both win. Anyway, we'll be back next time.
Bye.
Peace.